Welcome in to just another whole home edition of Sport Ball. I'm your boy Sam. With me, as always, are my good friends Kyle and Seth, and we're going to do some NBA talk today. Now, boys, there's talk. My mother's been talking about maybe she's going to start listening to this podcast.
Really?
So,
Son of a
none of our
bitch.
usual,
That
none
would
of our
change
usual
everything.
tomfoolery or language was what I was about to say. Shout out Annie if you're listening. How we doing, boys?
Right now, I'm drenched with sweat as the Celtics are on the brink of collapsing to the Cavs after dominating the whole game.
Not the whole
Kyle,
game.
But good.
I'm doing good.
that's good to hear. Uh, we want to talk NBA today. So, any of you NFL listeners, why don't you stay on? Okay, you might learn a thing or two. There's more to life than just football, right?
Yes,
Dead
maybe.
silence. They don't agree. Yeah. So
Seem
we're
rhetorical.
past we're past the trade deadline in the NBA. We're past the All-Star break. There's about what, maybe like 30 games left, Kyle, give or take, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
We're nearing crunch time, you know, where you really find out who the real teams are, who the real contenders are, and who the pretenders are, you might say. We know which one our Chicago Bulls are, by
I
the
think there's
way.
only like 20 games left, by the way, 22.
Yeah, so it's really gut crunch time. So let's start off by taking a look at the trades from the NBA trade deadline. And now that we've had a few games with these players in new places, how have these trades aged? I'm thinking of calling it, Kyle, in a patent pending segment, like wine or like milk. What do you think?
My only response to any of these is just going to be wine or milk, but I like it.
Right. And I think that's why it could be worth a patent. Let's start with Luca.
Milk.
I think we all know it aged like wine for the Lakers and milk like the Mavs, as we knew it would as soon as the trade happened. So it's not even like an aging; it's like a, you know, I don't know. It's a fresh milk, straight from the
It's,
udder for the Mavs.
yeah. It's
Anthony
basically
Davis
like
did
the
get it.
Mavs. The Mavs gave the Cavs a bottle of incredible wine,
Yeah,
and the cat and I said Cavs. The Mavs gave the Lakers, and then the Lakers gave them already spoiled
spoiled.
milk in return. So it's
And I
just
mean,
continued to age.
as we knew, like that's exactly what we expected at the time. But what we didn't expect, Kyle, was Anthony Davis instantly got injured as soon as he was sent to the Mavs and is out for a few months.
I mean, did we
And
not? We didn't not expect it.
right, it wasn't surprising. Let's say that
Yeah.
much. But it's a win now trade, Seth, and Luca's fat, so
Mm-hmm.
obviously that's going to work out better for them. Um,
Luka did push-ups mid-court before the game against Dallas the other day.
it looked like
Right
it
in
was the
front of
first
Nico
time he'd ever
Harrison.
done push-ups too. My boy was red in the face doing those push-ups, but he had to send a message. Uh, there's something about this trade, Kyle, and you can tell me I'm wrong, as you often do, that I feel like people aren't talking about. To me, it's not dissimilar to when the Lakers drafted Magic Johnson. Okay, stay with me here. They had Kareem, right? Much like the Lakers had LeBron. He was later on in his career, not in his 22nd season like LeBron, but in his 11th or so. Um, and Magic really reinvigorated the team. Kareem had not won in the playoffs, with the Lakers yet. They draft Magic, and then, you know, Kareem is like, great, I don't have to do all the scoring. Same with LeBron. He doesn't have to do all the scoring for them. And Magic slash Luca can run the show now. And if you think back to that season, they won the finals. Magic won finals MVP after playing center in the last game. I don't know, just saying. Just saying there are some parallels here.
I
I don't
don't,
know if it's your best analogy, but
yeah,
there are some similarities, I suppose.
Is it better than my milk wine thing?
No.
probably not.
So maybe
Yeah,
that's why people aren't saying it because it's not a good analogy.
potentially. It's I don't know. I think there's still adjustments happening. Those first few games, LeBron was still super ball dominant. But I think we've seen over the last two or so, and tonight will be a good one against the Clippers. as of the night of recording this, that is. Um, but Luka's been more and more becoming a little more usage heavy.
Hmm.
But I mean, JJ's just done a really good job of kind of splitting it up. Um, I didn't think there'd really be much of a time where we wouldn't see either
Hmm.
LeBron or Luka on the floor, but the trust that like LeBron and JJ have in um,
Reeves.
Austin Reeves, like it
Hmm.
gives those two even some extra time to rest, which I think is crucial come the end of games. And I mean, we saw that the other night. LeBron had what, like 15, 8 and 2 in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter alone or something, 19, 8 and
Yeah.
2. Um, and as this keeps going on, I think we just see kind of some more of that where LeBron really does take a little bit of a back seat. And the craziest thing to me is like, I think at age 40, this last stretch run and potentially going into the playoffs, he may just be the most dominant 3 and D player we've ever seen. The man's shooting 40% from three
Yeah.
without having to focus solely or so much on offense now. He's been outrageous on the defensive end. Like
Yeah. He's
honestly,
locked in.
honestly, he may be an all defensive player. I think he deserves it this year, which is
Well,
absolutely outrageous.
the first couple months he didn't play a lick of defense, but now
Well, they
he's
had
like one of the best
AD.
defenders in the league. Right.
We
And
didn't really have to do too much then because AD kind
yeah.
of locked down the paint, but this
Yeah.
this stretch that they're on right now, what, the last 20 games or so, I don't think you could name five better defenders in the NBA than him.
100%. And you can tell it's invigorated him. And like, this might have added a couple years to his career. Like, you can tell he's out there, like, I don't have to handle the ball the whole time. All the attention isn't on me on offense. Like, my knees aren't singing anymore. You know, I can actually take some breaks here and just shoot some catch and shoot threes. And there was some talk that he went to JJ Seth and said, like, Luka needs the ball in his hands. Like, he needs to run the offense. Kind of similar to how him and Wade decided after their first year, right? You know, it was kind of like Wade. He was kind of deferring to Wade because he'd already been there with the Heat, right? And then they realized, you know what, LeBron, you're better at this point in your career. You need to be the alpha on this team. You need to run the offense. Very similar to what's happening here with the Lakers. LeBron was already there. Luka wanted to defer to him, and then quickly LeBron's like, "No, like you're younger, you're better right now. Like you need to run this offense." And you know, Seth, I think what I really just meant with my Magic Kareem comparison is I really see them as true contenders this season.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting. LeBron had that quote, and he's always very intentional about what he says to the media. And he was talking about how Luca is a natural born quarterback and LeBron is a natural wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
which, is interesting for one of the greatest passers we've seen to say
Yeah.
that, right? Because LeBron obviously is more than capable of quarterbacking the offense. So I think he's being intentional in making that statement that it is going to be more Luca being ball dominant. LeBron's going to run the floor, try to get, fast break opportunities, Luca outlet passes, all that kind of stuff. So I agree. Unfortunately, I think the Lakers are contenders immediately. I mean, that was going to be true for most any team that has Luka Doncic on it. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, it's pretty wild. But obviously, Luka is not a rookie like Magic was, but a new acquisition to the team.
A nice young acquisition, yeah. And they're 8-2 in their last 10. They're in fourth in the West right now. It's already paying dividends. On the other side, the Mavs, I
They're
mean,
fourth. Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, yeah, they're one loss back from two, and
yeah,
Denver's
they're
played two
very
more
they could
games.
easily get
So
to that 2-3, and that's what you want, right? You want to avoid the Thunder in the second round, so they're going to go hard for that the 2 or 3 seed. Um, and yeah, I mean, on the Mavs side, it's like I'm sorry, even when AD's healthy, AD and Kyrie are not a contender in my opinion. Like those are both
I'm
Robins.
I don't know, man. That first game was with AD was absolutely insane through 2.5 quarters until the injury.
But that's the thing, though. Two and a half
Kai,
quarters.
Kyrie has honestly been insane offensively
He's
as
been great.
well since Luka's left. I think he's got to be averaging close to like 28 a night. They just can't stop bleeding front court injuries is the big problem. Like I think their ceiling was higher than just a first round exit, say fully healthy Mavs as currently constructed. But I don't know if we're going to end up
But
seeing that, which is the problem.
see, the thing is, I feel like even with a healthy AD, they're not on the Lakers level as contenders, just because over the course of a 7 game playoff series, when Anthony Davis was with LeBron and Kyrie was with Luca, they could both have off playoff games, and the star player on the team would rise up for them. And if they have a 12-point game, Seth, they don't have that luxury anymore. Those two have to run the offense, and I just
Well,
don't
there's
believe
Cam
in
Christie.
it. Cam Christie,
Max,
Max Christie?
Chris
Cam's the younger
Christie.
brother.
There's too many Christies in the league.
Doug?
I
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle's definitely higher on the theoretical version of the Mavs than we are, but for me, that's the problem is it's theoretical, and that's often been the case for Anthony Davis is that it always has this caveat, and it's just the height of irony that the Mavs traded for that person because the one they're trading away had durability concerns. So,
Yeah, and I just think like when it comes down to it, I don't feel like Kyrie or Anthony Davis can be the best player in a championship team, and I know that both LeBron and Luca can be the best player in a championship team. So, in my mind, those two teams are not the same.
don't know. I think there's been times where there's been certainly basketball games where Anthony Davis has easily been the best player on the floor.
Of course, there have been basketball games where he's been the best player on the floor. Have there been football games where he's been the best player on the floor? I'm not sure.
squash.
Any given night, sure.
Right. So, it all depends on if they're healthy, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be. So this is really a useless discussion. I think it's really all just comes back to the fact that they decided to trade for a win now championship team, but their team is not healthy enough to win now.
But
More
my
of
point
a
is like
lose now, lose in the future.
yeah,
Contract.
it's not even a win now. You got worse right now, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying.
We've been saying that.
But anyway, it's a moot point. It's like a cow's opinion. Jimmy Butler to the Warriors.
Mm.
Aged like wine for the Warriors. Aged like, I don't know, like a glass of tepid water for the Heat. Like, it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Fine.
Kind of exactly like we expected. Kyle, it's kind of opened up Steph. He's not getting doubled and tripled every game now with no secondary scoring threat. And I mean, he just went off for 56 last night against the Magic with 12 threes.
Came back from 17 down. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're like 7-1 with Jimmy. They're in seventh now, try to surge out of the play in the West. I could see them winning a round or two. I mean, with Jimmy kind of opening up their free throws and paint scoring, it's been a great match.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting down the stretch. Obviously, Jimmy's kind of added one of the biggest things that they've been missing, right? Just a kind of bully ball cutter as well that finishes the majority. I can't talk at all. Most at the rim, but also a hard-nosed defender. Like Draymond's great in a sense at what he normally does, but I don't know. Just the on-ball nature of Jimmy adds a different dynamic.
He's a wing defender, right?
Right,
Draymond's more of a
yeah.
help defender. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's going to be interesting though to see what happens when Kuminga comes back.
Yeah, that will be interesting.
How does he influence the flow of the offense? Because he was rolling beforehand. He was getting just about 20 and 6 a night. But who knows now with Jimmy? Is Kerr going to be weird about it where he's going to be the third man off the bench now playing like 12 minutes a game? So that's the one thing I can never trust with that team is Steve Kerr.
It's going to be hard to keep, like, when you have Kuminga, Green, and Jimmy on the floor as three, not great shooters. I think it can work, but they might want to like limit how many minutes they have all three of them together. But I think, Seth, there's a chance Jimmy tries to kind of mold Kuminga into a mini Jimmy, right? I could see this actually being great for Kuminga's development.
Kuminga got a better jump shot probably than Jimmy though already.
Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, they have similar games, I guess. My question would be, I don't know enough about Kaminga's personality and mentality if he's the type to want to have a mentor like Jimmy Butler, and if Jimmy's the type to want to be that for Jonathan. So I guess we'll find out.
I think they're I think they're going to be a solid playoff team, though. Before the trade, it was like, what are we doing? The 10 seed with Steph? I think they really, and it's not like they had to mortgage their future. Like, what future do they really have? They just traded Wiggins away. I think it was just a no brainer, and it's much more exciting to watch. At least I'll say that. Uh, let's talk Spurs. De'Aaron Fox, the Spurs, Seth. It's aged like what? I mean, it looked good, and then unfortunately we lost Wembanyama for the year, and now it just kind of doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it's one. I mean, maybe it's tepid water where it doesn't really matter what happens this season, but we still like it for them in the future. And having the Fox Wemby pairing should be good. We didn't get to see it for very long, but
Maybe it's like kombucha, right? Like
mhm,
we put it there to ferment. Next season, it's going to turn into something.
yeah,
Kyle didn't
I like
like that
that.
analogy, but I feel like that was dead on, frankly. And
Wasn't
I
for
don't
me.
like that tone. It's sad about Wemby though, Kyle. I mean, he's one of the more exciting players in the NBA, and blood clots are always a scary thing. He had some issue with the blood clot in his shoulder. They feel confident he's gonna be back and healthy next season, but it's not something to mess around with.
Yeah, certainly unfortunate. I mean, it probably couldn't have happened at a better time though. Like, if he was gonna get injured in some capacity, might as well be literally right after the All-Star break or have them realize it right after the All-Star
Yeah.
break where they could kind of more or less quiet quit, go full tank mode, and do what they can to potentially pair one of these top three guys in this upcoming class with Wemby and Fox for the future growth. So,
Can you imagine Cooper Flag next to Wemby? That's the perfect four next to Wemby.
yeah, I mean, so glass half full, look at it as is that unfortunate side is I think they had a chance to contend for at minimum a play-in spot, but I think that may have been a little tough. The way they're still trying to kind of integrate De'Aaron Fox as well as playing Chris Paul still in the starting lineup makes zero sense to me. And then I don't know what they're doing with Stephon Castle. I don't know if this is a result of Wemby being out and them, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
essentially tanking, but he's not getting consistent minutes. He's not even like the first man off the bench some nights. It's just weird what's going on down there.
I think I'm kind of envisioning Kyle next season. Chris Paul transitions to more of a player coach. You start Fox, Castle, Vassell,
Who's been
Wemby.
terrible since the All-Star break. He has been bad.
He has been, but I think he's going to be fine long term. And Wemby, and maybe you keep Harry B in the starter lineup or put Sohan in. I'm still bullish on them long term, and I think that Fox Wemby pairing is going to pay dividends still. It's just a shame that we now have to watch Bismack Biyombo play heavy minutes instead of Victor Wembanyama, two players that could not be more dissimilar.
I mean, they're
Uh,
both tall,
I guess in the grand scheme of things, they're two people over 7 feet. So,
very similar from, you know, a worldly perspective.
yeah, exactly. Um, One other quick trade age: DeAndre Hunter traded the Cavs, and we all liked it at the time, and I think it is paying dividends. You saw today that he held Tatum and Jaylen Brown to 46 and 37 points respectively. So just what they added him for. Now a lot of that was
Hey,
on switches and stuff.
Cavs won though.
Right, exactly.
Say what you
I mean,
want. Yeah.
he has hit as of the Cavs game today, he had hit 18 out of his 31 threes with the Cavs. So I mean, he's already kind of fitting in. Isaac Okoro is not doing that, right? So that's kind of the 3-and-D player that you've been missing. I think it's kind of went how we thought it would, Kyle, right? Like, that's a great player to add to their closing five and just makes them that more dangerous in the playoffs.
Exactly. Yeah. Um, couldn't have said it any better myself. The
I
pairing,
speak
I mean,
through him.
they're so deep. They're so well coached. I think everybody really knows their role this year, which in the last few years, I'm not really sure. At least in the front court, everyone kind of did, but uh, can't gloss over the leap that Evan Mobley took coming in or this year so far. Again, DeAndre Hunter truly is top two, three, six man of the year candidate. Now on his second team, also
Has
top,
anyone ever won it playing for two teams? I was wondering that.
I don't know.
But his own teammate, Kyle, you might have been about to say, might win it as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's not getting any love. Ty Jerome, though, truly should be in the conversation for sixth man of the year. He's essentially Peyton Pritchard, but on the number one seed in the East and not the number two seed in the East. So
Yeah.
everyone loves Pritchard because he hit a couple three-quarter buzzer beaters
Hey,
last year.
I won't take any slander. We love Pritchard. Okay.
But
And we love Ty Jerome. Let's not bring one down to bring the other up. All right.
what Ty Jerome's doing it is insane in terms of like efficiency compared to um, the toughness of the shots that he's taking. So top to bottom, Cavs are one of the best rosters in the league, not just the East where they're sitting first right now, but there's three teams in tier one. It's OKC, it's the Cavs, and it's Boston.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, as
definitely.
much as I hate to say it.
They're definitely ahead above the rest. Ty Jerome with 8 points today. Peyton Pritchard with 6. I don't know. Maybe let's start talking DeAndre Hunter, who had 12.
Peyton
I don't know.
Pritchard's been outperformed now in back-to-back games against two other six man of the year candidates. So just saying.
He's
I don't
choking.
know why I feel like someone shouldn't win six man of the year when they're on two different teams, but it doesn't sit right with me. I can't tell you why. All right. Should we talk Joel Embiid? Now, let's have a moment of silence for Joel Embiid, even though this podcast, we are together collectively generational Embiid haters. Okay. But the poor
Certified.
guy, the poor guy's being shut down for the season, played 19 games, never looked right the whole time. In the last game he played, he somehow yeeted himself 4 rows into the stands trying to close out on a 3-pointer. Every time he falls, it looks like he's creating his own little mini canyon on the court. Seth, I think the question is not, will he ever be the same again? I don't think he will ever be an MVP level player again. But he's 9 years into his career. Is it over as him even being a top 15 player in the league?
Yeah.
Next
Care to
question.
elaborate?
I mean, like you said, we're all Embiid haters, so what do you expect me to say? But as the saying goes, the best ability is availability. And he had a little run there where he was mostly healthy. And honestly, that maybe it was better than what we would have expected after his first couple of years in the league, where he
right.
missed
He didn't even play the first
whole
few
seasons.
seasons. Yeah.
And so he had a run there, but it's just gotten worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And there's no sign that the Sixers organization, he himself, training staff, everybody like has any idea how to handle his body in a way that's going to make him healthy long term.
Yeah.
So, maybe there'll be a game or two here and there where he looks like his old self, but I don't see him
foul baiting and crying.
Right, shooting free throws.
Don't bury the dead, Kyle. Come on.
I don't see him having the durability to be even a top 15 player ever again.
Let me read you.
But at least he's got a gold medal.
Yeah.
True. Let me read you his career here just real quick. And, he's here for a good time, not a long time. I mean, did not play his first 2 years. Did not play his first 2 years. Then he played 9 seasons. Games played 31, 63, 64, 51, 51, 68, 66, 39, 19. You see it just drop off there so suddenly. And I mean, the last 3 seasons.
Parabola, though.
Exactly. It's a bell curve.
That's what I
The
was saying.
last 3 seasons, 30, 33, and
It's not a
35
bell
points per
curve either.
game. I mean, this guy just he can get wherever he wants. He can score 35 a game. It is a bell curve. Don't come at me again. And he's scoring 35 points a game, barely even trying, Kyle, and yet he's going to be
I
gone within
don't. No, no,
nine
no, no, no.
seasons.
I'm not gonna give him that. Don't tell me he's barely trying. The dude's crying for fouls every single time. I'm sick of people. You guys aren't on as much social media as me, obviously, but the amount of hate that I keep seeing against Shea being just a foul merchant and a free throw merchant, and everything he does is to get to the free throw line. It's like, dude, have you watched Joel Embiid his entire career, specifically to the last 2 years, and the year he won an MVP? It was like, if he's
Yeah.
not at the free throw line 15 times a game, then he's crying or hurting other players.
I feel like it's different. Like Embiid flops. Shea and like Jimmy too are so good with their herky jerky movements that they're never where you expect them to be, and then you end up having to follow them. Of course, they embellish to a certain extent, but I agree there. But listen, it's just a weird career. Like the highs were high, not in the playoffs, but like
Is he a
this
Hall of
guy.
Famer?
I don't even know. I mean, he won an MVP. I feel like he's
Does,
like
does that
the only
grant you,
MVP.
Godfather you into the Hall of Fame?
Only
though?
Derrick Rose is the only MVP not to make the Hall of Fame, and his career was cut much shorter than Embiid. So I feel like he probably is a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Can Derrick Rose be in the Hall of Fame yet, though?
No, but I don't think he's
Derrick
getting
Rose
in.
is a Hall of Fame player.
Really?
I mean, the
I
Hall
don't
of
think
Fame
he'll
is
make it.
fucking dumb. So
Seth actually is in the Hall of Fame, I think.
yeah,
For peeing
For his-
next to someone?
I don't
Was it a
know.
Birdman?
Chris Anderson?
That's who he peed next to, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So I don't know. It's just a weird career I'm having. It just ended so quickly. I mean, he's probably still going to play, but I just don't see him being the same ever again. Very strange career.
I just keep questioning, and why nobody else in like the media brings this up is like, does this season go any different health wise if he doesn't play in the Olympics and get
100%
ready
it
for the
does.
Olympics? It's like,
Yes, it definitely does. That ruined the whole season.
why? I don't understand why no one's talking about it.
I feel like a lot of people are talking about it.
I haven't seen a single mention of him playing in the Olympics. And
Your
this,
boy Bill
that being
Simmons talks
impossible.
about it all the time,
You know, I don't fucking listen to Bill Simmons.
but you agree with him.
He's got good taste. I hate him though.
All right, what I want to do is a little exercise, okay? Exercise the minds, the spirits. I want to do somewhat of an early All NBA, just see where we're at, see who we think the top 15 players in the league are. It's positionless now. You like
Fully
that,
now.
Seth? You don't have to pick two guards, two forwards, a center, whatever.
Is there a 65 game rule as well still for all NBA?
Correct. So
Yeah,
Luka's
okay.
out, Embiid's out, obviously, as if we're going to put Embiid in. There may be a few other notable players out, but I didn't really check. I did not have much
Wemby will be out.
problem. Wemby is another one. Yes, good call. I did not have too much problem with like the top 8 or so, and then I had a little bit of problems. I tried to make this list based on vibes only. I didn't look at any stats at all, and that's how they say you should do things. I'll give you my first team, and you tell me if you disagree. You guys
It's
ready?
like if you're an Oscar voter. Still
Yeah, they don't even
vibes.
watch the movies. All right. I'll give you my first team here. I have Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Tatum, Donnie. Donnie, you can maybe quibble with.
yeah. I think those first four are set in stone. And I would also take Donnie, I think, as 5, but it's debatable.
I
Kyle,
watched too much. I can understand the debate for Donnie. The other 4 are also in mine. But like, there's also so many nights where I feel like Donnie just doesn't have it. But then again, in the big games, it seems like he always has it. So I don't really know how to balance that. And if it's just like well, we're probably gonna win this game, I don't need to do too much type of attitude.
Yeah, right.
But it was kind of a toss up for me between like him and Anthony Edwards. Those were the 2 that I was debating. I ultimately went with Ant, but either or. I think is fine.
Uh, yeah, it's almost like Donnie. Like he's scoring less than he's scored basically since like his rookie season, but it seems like he's impacting winning more. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm just like glazing because he's on a good team, but like it seems like
He
to me
also
like
just dropped like 40 tonight as well. So
right.
almost.
It just seems like he knows when to pick his spots now, and he's like I think back in the day he was kind of a shot chucker. You know, he's a very talented player, but like he would get kind of shot heavy at the end of games. I feel like he's found that perfect balance this season. You know, and that's led to them being the first team in the East. And I wanted to reward that.
He's also
Uh,
only playing 31 minutes a game.
right. That's another thing because they're all
So
blowing teams out.
yeah, I don't know if that's a credit to him and that, his stats are understandably a little bit less because of that, or you could argue, well, that's why you should have, Brunson ahead of him because Brunson carries more of the load for the Knicks, plays 35
Mm-hmm.
minutes a game,
That's just Tibbs
has to
though.
do a lot more. Same with Ant is at 36, and obviously he's the focal point of the offense, but they aren't as good. So I don't know. Maybe it's the classic kind of team success. How much do you weight
Yeah.
that versus what you're required to give your team night after night? But
I just threw the kid a bone, you know, leading the number one seed. On my second team, I have now this could get crazy. I don't know if we're going to be very different here. I have Ant, Brunson, Cat, and then I have Cade and LeBron.
hmm
What do you think?
I think Cade deserves it from what we've seen.
I
Um,
mean, they're six in the East, and once they surround him with shooters, it's like, oh, this guy's one of the best point guards in the league.
yeah, honestly, I don't know exactly where I land. My quibble might be with Cat
Mm-hmm.
just because he's been atrocious defensively. They were
Yeah.
doing this on the Hoop Collective pod the other day. Tim Bontemps was going over, which curmudgeon that he is, was going over how bad Cat has been on
I hate
defense.
Tim Bontemps. You can
Dude,
clip that.
that whole podcast is so bad. I hate it all.
Yeah, he
Our
still
podcast,
listens to it from
meanwhile,
time
is
to
a
time,
buttoned up professional operation.
of course. So
Well, the
it's one
thing
of
with Cat
those.
Seth, I feel like is like he's great. Like remember next to Gobert where he would defend the center, let Gobert roam, and he can body
Yeah,
you in the post. But as a rim protector trying to help and rotate to the rim as your sole center, he's gonna struggle a bit on defense.
yeah, he was reading off some stats, and I believe he is worst in the league at opponent shooting percentage around the rim when he's the primary defender.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's just been ass on defense, but really great offensively and
Rebounding, great this year.
better at rebounding than in Minnesota most years. And I don't know. It's just a
So who
glaring
would you
hole in his
have?
game, but that is true for other players too. So
Who
it's
would
not
you
like
have
Brunson's
as
an
your
amazing
fifth?
defender.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Who would you have as your fifth second team then, Seth, if not Cat?
Uh, I might say Kyrie. I might say Steph.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie's
I think
probably,
either Kyrie
yeah,
is maybe deserving.
yeah.
I mean, boy, has he propped them up this year. What about you, Kyle? What are you thinking for the second team?
Um, so I had Donnie because I didn't go with him first. I took Ant. Donnie, Cade, Brunson, Braun, and then I wavered a bit on the last with Towns as well. Ultimately have Towns in there though.
So you had the same five as me, basically, except
Yeah, we switched out
Ant and
Donnie and
Donnie
then
was
yeah,
switch. Okay,
yeah.
that's pretty reasonable for us to basically agree on the top 10. Kind of
Yeah,
surprising.
yeah.
All right. The third team is where it gets interesting. I have Kyrie, Steph. I put KD. I don't know. But how bad the team is, some of that has to be on him.
I know. It's not on him, I don't think. But
Probably not. He is like their best defender and offense. Like you can't ask him to do more at 35. Uh, and then I filled it out with Mobley and Jaren Jackson, but I just don't know. You could say Harden, you could say Jalen Brunson, you could say Sabonis, you could say Hero. Those last two spots are pretty up in the air for me.
yeah. I also had Kyrie, Steph, Mobley, Jaren Jackson, and then I had to put Harden in there.
Yeah, it's a real case for him over KD. I mean, I don't know. That team is just not good.
Which one?
The Suns.
Right.
I honestly,
Fine.
I might put Harden in there too. And you know, I'm a notorious Harden hater, but he's really propped up that Clippers team this year. Seth, what do you have for your third team?
I think you got to have Sabonis in there. I feel like
Do
Why?
you
It's
though?
positionless. Why?
because he's averaging 19, 14, and 6. I feel like
On
how
the
many
He's
10th
so
seed.
bad defensively though, and his team is not good.
Yeah, he's worse than Cat defensively, easily.
100% worse than Cat.
I'd have to look into the stats on that.
I want you doing a deep dive on that over the weekend. You get back to me.
Okay.
So if you have Sabonis, then who's your other four?
So then I think I would Kyrie, Steph, Mobley.
So we all have
And-
Kyrie, Steph, and Mobley. We're really quibbling over the. Honestly, we all have the top 13, and we're quibbling over the last two.
Yeah. Um,
I thought Trey Young was also
I was thinking about
should
that.
have been. He was heavily considered to me as well. I side with my guys, but Trey's been so good this year. I think he's elevated kind of everyone around him. He's not playing like the usual Trey that we're used to, where it's just chucking. But
Has he finally figured out how to play on a
I think so.
five-man team?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Uh, so I really think
Jaylen Brown.
Jalen's got to be in consideration too. He's been better since we kind of lambasted him before the All Star game. I will say. I think it's kind of like Harden, Sabonis, Jalen, Jaren Jackson, KD. Those are like my real candidates for that last spot. I had JJJ just because he might be Defensive Player of the Year, and kind of like no
He's
job
been
a
great this
lot
year.
of the
I mean,
season.
honestly,
And
he's been
there's
fantastic.
the fact that they're a 2 seed and Ja's been in and out of the lineup, really makes me kind of want to reward Jaren Jackson. And I've honestly never been a Jaren Jackson fan, really, but this season I've really been into him. I don't know, like it's just like
He's been crushing it every night. He's doing it
yeah,
kind of at all levels too. I feel like it's not just
he's
like,
yeah,
you
and he's
know,
finally not following out of every other game. I mean, it's
exactly. Yeah, having a true center down there with Edie, well, at least
yeah,
half the time, because I don't know what the hell
yeah.
they're doing with their minutes, but I think Jaren should definitely be in there.
That's true. You guys have convinced me on JJJ.
All right, good. Now we got to
Over
figure out
Sabonis.
one spot, everyone, as a podcast. I don't think KD deserves it, honestly. The more I think about it.
Katie's been great. There's no denying that. I mean, he's also on a team where for some nights he ends up as the third option, which makes absolutely zero sense because Booker and Beal want to chuck the whole game. So, I mean, that's not his fault, but at the same time, it's like say what you want about Harden, but he's played almost every game this year. He's averaging
I think it could be Harden. I really do.
what's he averaging again? That's not the right team. Either way. I mean, 6th seed in the West. Harden's averaging close to a double-double, if not a double-double.
I mean, you could
Seth,
argue Harden's not the best player on his team,
22,
though.
9, and 6. Who the fuck are you arguing is better than him?
Norman Powell.
Norm Powell. I knew he'd say
No.
that because he's a sick fuck. Seth, a wise man once told me
Was
the
Norman
best
Powell in the All-Star
availability.
game?
No,
Don't get us started about all-star voting.
Seth, the wise man once told me the best availability is the best ability.
The best availability is ability.
And I rest my case.
All right. Sounds good.
So, Seth, you're not agreeing with Harden as the last one. Who would you have then?
I mean, I'm not agreeing.
Oh,
It's one of those things like if you just again go back and talk about vibes, like who's a better
Vibes are
player right
immaculate with
now?
him.
James Harden or
vibe.
Kevin Durant?
Right. Well, the vibes are atrocious in the Suns if we're talking vibes.
Yeah, I don't mean like the the culture of the team or the energy around the team. I just mean setting aside stats and we just think which player's better.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, just in the course of their career, KD's obviously
I don't mean in their
better
career. I mean
overall
right now,
player.
which player is better? I still think Durant is better. I'd rather
In
have
terms
Durant on
of
my team.
for their team, I think Harden is honestly better because the Suns don't have a fucking clue what they're doing with Bud. So
Just such a
Yeah.
weird season with the Suns. It's hard to reward a player with an All NBA, you know. And I don't know if I should be like how much I should be weighing that against KD. Whatever. We agreed on 14 out of 15. Way better than you could have expected.
true.
Let's hit a couple opinions first before we might have a special guest join us. Here are my Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals as I see them right now. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. I have Celtics Cavs in the East.
Way to
That's my
go out on a
prediction.
limb.
You like that? With I have written down in parentheses Knicks. But the problem is if they're the 3 seed, they're gonna have to play the Celtics round 2. And they have not looked great against the Celtics so far. So because the Celtics are the 2 seed, right? So that's giving me a
Yeah.
weird look, even though that's
No, I
just
mean,
the way things work.
I think it would be approximately the same size of a problem if they were the 4 seed and had to play the Cavs in the second round. So,
I'd give them a chance against the Cavs, honestly.
I'm gonna say
yeah,
this. I'm with you as of today, Sam. I'm with you. One,
That's February 28th, listeners.
one, health plays a big factor, and two, Mitchell Robinson. Did he return tonight? He's supposed to return, if not tonight, within the next few games. Need to see what this team looks like with Mitchell Robinson because I think that plays a big factor into how they can match up and how they do match up with Boston and the Cavs.
Mitchell Robinson returned tonight. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 12 minutes.
Love it.
Ease him in. Seth, so you agree. I'm not even going to go to you. Western Conference Finals. I have OKC, as we all do, I'm sure. I'm putting the Lakers there right now. I think they might beat the Nuggets if they match up in the 2-3. I don't know. You have Luka and LeBron. It's just like Seth. You know what it is? It's just like Magic and Kareem.
I mean, with that airtight argument, it's hard to say anybody else. Um, yeah, I mean, I think in the West, we have OKC in a tier of their own. And then in tier two, I would say Denver, Lakers,
Yeah.
Warriors,
Whoa.
potentially.
Really? I think it's Denver and
Potentially.
I think it's kind of Denver, Lakers, Knicks in the
Knicks.
second tier.
In the
He's
West,
talking West.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking if I'm going league wide, it's OKC, Celtics, Cavs.
We all
Teardrop.
agree on it.
Lakers, Nuggets, Knicks, teardrop. Then you can put the Warriors there, in my opinion. It's hard. I mean, they're gonna make a run from the 7th seed, you know.
yeah, who knows? Playoff Jimmy. Can't count him out.
The thing
So-
is if they do play from the 7th seed right now, they're playing Memphis, who they've notoriously
They could 100% beat Memphis.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Kyle.
But if we're forcing us to choose, which we are, I'll take
I am.
Denver.
Yeah, it's
Got
probably the
Denver.
right chase.
It probably is too, but I'm way too high on the Luka LeBron thing too. I have OKC and the Lakers. And let me tell you, as an OKC fan, I would be so
Yeah,
sweaty that entire matchup.
100%. How can you feel comfortable against the 2 best passers of our generation? You can't. I guess Jokic is also up there, but assuming he's eliminated. All right. MVP of the league. Juicy. We have 2 great candidates, Jokic and SGA. Allow me to read their stats and accolades, if you will. Jokic, Nikola from Serbia. 29, 13, and 10 this year, averaging a triple-double. No one even cares about that anymore. That's old news to us. 58, 45, 82. Seth, is that good?
Pretty solid.
His team, 38 and 21, third in the West, second in offense, an offense that he leads almost single handedly with his own hands. SGA, 32, 5 and 6, 2 steals per game, 52, 36, 89 splits. His team, 47, 11. Seth, is that good?
Pretty solid.
First in the West. And they are also first in defense. And it must be said, he contributes to that defense. He plays on both ends. Two great candidates. Seth, if you had to vote for MVP this year, which you do, who would you be voting for?
You know, it's interesting. We were talking about the NFL MVP race, and there's a big correlation between Josh Allen, Lamar being similar to past MVP Joel Embiid, Jokic race, where there was a bit of voter fatigue, and so Embiid ended up winning. And Kyle would argue that that's why Josh Allen beat Lamar Jackson in the MVP this year.
Yes.
And I feel that that is happening almost as egregiously, not quite,
No
I mean,
way.
almost
Embiid-
as egregiously
No way.
this year, where I think if you
SJ's not a
asked-
fucking grifter, dude.
you asked, you know, all the MVP voters in the league, just who's the best player, 75% of them would say Jokic, but he's not going to get 75% of the MVP voters votes, you know, number one. So I think it's silly. I think Jokic should win. Shea is obviously an incredible player. I think this season that he's putting up would be enough to win MVP in most years. So in
Yeah.
that sense, you could say, you know, they're both deserving. But I think Jokic, I mean, the stats you read out favor Jokic, and we all think he's better than Shea. So why wouldn't he win?
I mean,
because Shea's
is a
team
big
better.
man, is a skilled big man just going to win MVP every year then? Because they're obviously going to put up rebounds over guards at all, pretty much any year. So I mean,
Well, he's also averaging 4 more assists. So
yeah, but who's averaging more points? Who's contributing more on the defensive end? Shea.
my
Who do you
question would
think
be,
is better,
Kyle. My question would be, Kyle, how is this different than Embiid? We just like SGA and we hate Embiid. Like SGA has had no playoff success either. I'm not saying I don't believe that he will. I'm just saying, you know, it's very similar in my mind.
At what point was Philly ever the number one seed?
I think they might have been the year that he won.
I don't think they were the one seed.
They were definitely higher than the Nuggets, and that was like one of the points of contention.
They didn't essentially have the conference locked up with 20 games to go.
Right. So you're saying, you know, which I think is a valid point. You're saying SGA's OKC team is much more dominant than any Embiid team or any rival of Jokic's MVP seasons has been.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure also the plus minus with Shea on and off the court is how
It's
to
close.
phrase this? It's worse than Denver's plus minus with Jokic on and off the court, surprisingly. But I mean, there was a mashup just the other night of Jokic literally not closing out on like 4 different players who all scored, didn't step up to try and block anything at the rim. So that's just one game, but still, Shea on the defensive end is massive for a team that's number one in the defensive rankings. I think Shea should honestly also, he's not going to win it, obviously, but he does have a case for Defensive Player of the Year, again, in terms of his involvement on the defensive end for
That's
the number one
ridiculous.
defense. No, it's not.
He's not even the best defensive player on his team.
Yeah, I agree.
He's probably not top 3 on his team.
You can give him an all defense team.
Well,
but
here's the
defensive
thing.
player of
Here's the
year,
thing.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. Chet wouldn't win it. Can't win it. Lou Dort, I agree. Better on ball defender, 100%. But still, I'm just saying, I think there could be a case to be made. I'm not saying he would ever win it because I don't think he would. Nobody wins those awards besides big men, anyways. So it's really a moot point. But I'm just saying his contribution on the defensive end, as well as what he does on the offensive end, in my opinion, he's in terms of two-way player, he's the best I'm pretty sure there is in the league.
Is it possible that you're biased?
No.
Noted Jokic hater, Kyle Olson.
Yeah, he
Yes,
used to
dude, that's
love
me.
he used to love Jokic and defend him against everyone else, but now he loves SGA and he has to defend him against Jokic.
No, here's the thing. There's no debate that these are the one of these two guys are going to win MVP.
Well, they're
That's
the two best
absolutely no
players in the
debate.
league, right? They're the two best players in the league.
Right. I don't
I'm
think though that
honestly, I'm not
I think
against
it's
SGA winning.
offensive. I think it's offensive to say that it's a voter fatigue thing to say that SGA is going to win it. They've been
Yeah,
OKC has been dominant from day one at the start of the season, all driven by Shea.
I do agree. Our special guest, not to be revealed yet, did drop in the chat that Embiid was the 1 seed when he won. But I do agree that this
I do
Thunder
not
team
remember that at all.
this Thunder team is kind of head and shoulders above the other teams in the league, and are first in defense by a wide margin, right? Which
Isn't
Shea
the gap
certainly
between
contributed to.
them and defensive rating them and this number two the same as like the gap from 2 to like 11 or something? Pretty sure
So I
saw
think there
that the
is a
other day.
reasonable argument for SGA, and I don't think it's as much voter fatigue as it was with Embiid.
I agree with that. I'm just never been a best player on the best team should be MVP kind of guy. I think if you traded Jokic onto the Thunder and took SGA off, I think they would be the best team in the league by far. So, and I think if you put Shea on the Nuggets with the surrounding cast that Jokic would have, it probably wouldn't be as good as the Nuggets are this year. And again, I
I
just
don't know.
think,
That's a tough thing to compare, though. Like you're
of
dropping
course,
a
it's all
front court player
hypothetical.
in for a backcourt
Mhm.
player
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, and I
Two
mean
teams
maybe
that are
it's
constructed solely around two players. So
for sure, but you can't deny like OKC has a way better supporting cast and overall team than the Nuggets have. So,
that's why
right,
they're the one
Shea
seed.
has more to work with. And
But he's still also
again,
averaging more points in the league than anyone else. So
yeah, I think he's yeah, the
I'm
second
not mad
best
if
player
you
in the
pick
league. It's
SGA,
just
but
the
yeah,
award is most valuable player, and I think that should go to the one who's the best.
and the guy that
And
sometimes just doesn't try on defense, right?
yeah, so if you say, you know what, I think SGA is a better player than Nikola Jokic because he's better on defense, that's why I'm voting him MVP. I think that's a decent argument. I just think that most of the MVP voters don't believe that. I think they think, well, Jokic is the best player, but
Mhm.
let's give it to SGA because he's on the best team and Jokic already has 3 MVPs.
I mean, this is we talk about this every year too. This award is dumb in the fact that it's like
It's
there
narrative.
was a 7 year stretch where LeBron should have won every single
Yeah,
year, but he didn't.
100%.
So
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? Yeah,
I'm fine if
call it voter
SGA
fatigue,
wins.
call it not. I don't know.
I'm fine with SGA wins. He's having an unbelievable season. They're having a very memorable season as a team. Fine, I would pick Jokic, but
Yeah, there's
these
just
are
zero
two very
doubt. It's between those two. It might come down to the closing stretch. It might not. I don't know. But
yeah.
OKC's
So
been
they're matching up a couple times, Kyle, over the rest of the season. So that might like actually have an effect.
yeah, that'll be interesting to see too because Denver's a sieve against guards and
A
and
sieve.
Civ, whatever.
No, I think it is Steve.
Thank you.
You're
Right for
welcome.
once.
We got to bring him in. We have a special guest. We're gonna do a little bit of trivia at the end of this episode to send our listeners off into the weekend with something to just make them happy, bring joy to their lives. Nick Cornell is here. Nick, how we feeling?
Boys, I'm back. I'm 2 margaritas deep. I'm ready to go.
Slow
I love to hear that. As one does when they do an escape room, you have to put a margarita in you, otherwise there's no way you're escaping. That's what they say.
Yeah, one going in, one coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Seth has somewhat of a trivia activity for us, and our loyal listeners will remember that we did do an NBA Jeopardy last year, and 3 of the people on this Zoom owe me a dinner for my victory.
Two. We agreed that the person who created it would benefit as well.
That's right. So Nick will come along. We'll all split me and Nick's dinner. It hasn't happened yet because Seth refuses to come to Chicago anymore. He's up there. He's up there biking in -14 Fahrenheit instead. He seems to prefer that. Seth, can you kind of set up this?
Thank you.
Can you kind of set up this trivia game for our listeners and what the plan is here?
Yeah, so I set up some trivia questions so that Nick would get a chance to play this time. And I did it so that it would be the worst experience for our audio listeners possible. So I hope
That's
that's
what you
good. We ran into, well, not technical difficulties, but it was just an added factor last time where we're on Zoom and trying to buzz in with the Jeopardy style trivia. And so to eliminate any sort of internet playing a factor, we're just going to do 3 rounds of trivia, 10 questions each round. And we're going to do the first 5. And then the 3 of you are going to text me your answers for those 5. All right. So pull out your phones, start it on your notes app, whatever you got to do. And then I'll reveal the answers and the scores after, midway through each round. So
Can I ask
if
you a
you're
question real
listening,
quick?
Matt, hopefully this is fun for you. You can try to play along. If Matt
You
beats
think
any
Matt
of
will be playing along?
All right, well, let's just get right into it.
Okay.
I don't know how
Seth,
long
can
this
I-
Nick
is
had a
gonna take,
question, but screw him.
Yeah, can I ask you a quick question?
please.
No.
Okay. So the way you described like what happened last time, did you create this whole trivia as a protest saying that you lost because of internet connection?
No, I definitely lost fair and square last time.
Okay.
Might have been close.
No
to-
way.
He came actually in last, so
Yeah. All right.
All right, I'm
So
ready.
be sure to just text me individually, not in the group chat, obviously. So
after the
but-
round, we're gonna do 10 questions.
Yeah, after
and we
the
send
round.
our answers. All right, cool.
All right. So the first category is unbreakable NBA records.
Mm.
Okay. I'm going to try to, maybe start off easier, but I didn't do that for all of them. Anyways, here's the first question. Who has the record for most assists in an NBA game? Give me the name of the player, and you get a bonus point if you give me the exact correct number of assists that he had in that game. Question number 2. Who has the record for the fastest time to get a triple-double in a career? In other words, the lowest number of games that it took you in your career before you got a triple-double.
Oh,
Oh, I already texted you an
Right.
answer that's wrong.
So if you got a triple-double in your 100th game, that was your first triple-double. That would be the fastest, whatever you think it is.
Wow.
But just give me the name of the player that you think was the fastest to record a triple-double in their career.
Interesting. Okay.
I'll give you a couple seconds to mull that one over.
No. Keep going.
Okay. Question number 3. This is a little homer question.
Oh,
Bill
God.
Russell has the record.
Never heard of him.
Yep. Has the record with more than 4,000 rebounds in the playoffs in his career. Wilt is not far behind at number 2. Who is number 3? And for a bonus point, how far behind are they from Bill Russell at number 1? Whoever
You
has
want me
the
to give you a number of
closest-
rebounds?
Whoever is the closest to the correct number of rebounds gets 1 point. So you don't have to get it exactly. It's just whoever's the closest out of the 3 of you. So give me
Most
the name of the
rebounds in
player
playoffs?
who's third all time in playoff rebounds, and how many rebounds behind number 1 do you think he is?
How many does Bill Russell have?
More than 4,000. Question number 4. There are 10 players. This one also might take you a minute. There are 10 players who have scored 50 points in a game more than 10 times.
Okay.
Name 5 of them.
10 players, 50 points, more than 10?
Yep. 10 players who've had a 50-point game more than 10 times. You have to name 5 of them.
My
If you
God.
get 5, that's 1 point. For every player after 5, you get an extra point. So you could try
So
to
we're
name
trying.
all
You're
10.
trying to get us to send you 10 names.
You know what? Never mind. Screw the extra point. Just name 5. You get a point if you name 5.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can't name more than 5. I have to send you
Correct.
exactly 5.
That's
Okay.
what we'll do. You have to send me exactly 5 names, and all 5 have to be on the list to get 1 point.
list of 10 or more 50-point games in their career.
Yep.
Could we also maybe we could do if I get 3 out of 5, I get 3. If Kyle gets 4 out of 5, he gets 4
Hmm.
because I'm not sure
I'll
anyone's gonna
consider
get
it.
all 5.
I'll
I'm gonna
consider
get all
it.
5. Don't worry about it.
All right. And then Question 5. Who has the record for the most free throws missed in a single game? I'll give you a bonus point if you give me the exact number correct of how many free throws they missed.
Is that regular season or playoffs?
Just in one game?
Regular season. In one single game.
I asked that because that was a trivia question for us, but it was playoffs the last time we did this.
Oh,
That's
I didn't
right.
remember that.
This is harder than NBA Jeopardy, I want to say, first of all.
Much harder.
I still haven't given you the triple double answer yet.
Most missed free throws in a game. Jesus Christ. What an insane question.
Fastest triple double.
Yeah, I'm struggling on that one.
I feel like it almost, I don't know. It's gonna be some stupid player.
Yeah, it's gonna be some guy who like randomly got a triple double in his first game.
I have a good one.
I'm doing
There's
it for
no
the
way
meme.
it's right. Seth's gonna laugh at this. It's not gonna be right. Seth, I think I just owe you the 5 players, if I'm correct.
I believe so.
10 players, 50 points more than 10 times. 10 players, 50
I just sent
points,
you all
10
mine, Seth.
times.
Got it, Nick. Yeah, these might. Yeah, I gave you some hard questions, but they're hard.
Did
for
you
all.
You're,
give us some hard questions? They were impossible. This guy.
The first one, the most assists, like without giving anything away, the first assists literally was discussed on Legs' podcast, the
Yeah.
All NBA podcast a few days ago. So I know
Oh.
the player. I'm pretty sure I know
You
the
guys
number,
cheated
but I'm
then.
not 100%
Yeah.
sure.
Legler was actually the defender on the last assist.
Seth,
Yeah,
I
dude,
would have
when he told
nailed.
Told that story, I was cracking up.
Yeah, I was dying.
I would have nailed, Seth, your question of trip dub. I thought you meant who was the quickest in a game to a trip dub, and I just read how many minutes and seconds that Jokic got in. It was 14 minutes, 33 seconds.
Yeah,
would've
I think
nailed that.
everybody knew Jokic.
Yeah, but
I already had it
I had
typed
just
up.
seen the minutes and seconds, which was funny. All right, I have all my answers in. What about you guys?
I think so.
Same.
I mean, I'd sent them all at once, so.
All right, Seth, let's read us the answers and see what we got right.
Okay, you can help me keep track of the scores. I got a spreadsheet going, but all right. So number 1, the most assists in a game is Scott Skiles, the
Mm-hmm.
legend.
One of the
Uh,
only players to maybe never be able to dunk in the NBA post merger. There's no proof of it.
All of you got that correct. However, Kyle gets a bonus point because he said the correct number of assists, which was 30 exactly.
You
Oh,
put
I said
29, Nick?
32.
I said 31. Fuck.
I said 32.
31 was what they were talking about that they wanted to see Jokic break or get to.
Yeah.
Do you want to say your guesses for the fastest to a triple double in their career? You all got it
I said
wrong.
Michael Carter Williams just because I thought maybe, you know.
Ooh, that was a good
Oh,
one.
I said another Philly rookie. I said Ben Simmons.
That was a good one too.
Ooh, that's a
I
good
said
one.
Luca. I think
one.
that was a cop out, but I don't think it's not right, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, the correct answer is not somebody like way out of left field. The correct answer was Oscar Robertson.
Damn it, I almost answered
I
that.
thought
Yeah.
that was too easy.
Yeah, me
so
too.
did I.
It took him one game. He had a triple double in his first NBA game.
Why didn't we guess the guy who was the first to average a triple double? That's on us.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's pretty wild. Question 3 was who's third all time in playoff rebounds?
I said Braun.
Sam, you
Same.
guessed LeBron. Kyle also guessed LeBron.
I thought about Robert
Nick.
Parrish though.
Also guessed LeBron.
Wow.
All of you are incorrect.
Drat.
It is Tim Duncan.
Oh, that was an obvious one.
LeBron's got to be 4, right?
But I will give Kyle a point anyways. Kyle said 900 behind. Nick said 750. Sam said 700. Tim Duncan is 1,245 rebounds behind. Bill
Oh
Russell.
my god. I almost put 1,000, but I was like, that's too many. Wow. So this was all for you to glaze Bill Russell.
That's
essentially.
correct.
Okay.
And shit on
LeBron
Will.
is fourth, by the way, boys. LeBron
Okay.
is fourth.
How much is he behind Timmy?
Timmy by less than 300 rebounds.
So
He's gonna
good
get
guess.
there.
We were
So
close.
just
We were pretty
let's
close.
re-record this in 3 years and it'll be true.
Yep. All right. So see if you can count along for yourself how many of the 5 guys you got, because
Okay.
I'm trying to toggle between 3 different messages here.
I understand.
So here are the 10 players who have scored 50 points in a game more than 10 times. Wilt, obviously, who did it like 1,000 times.
We all got that, I'm sure.
Actually, he did it 118 times. Michael Jordan,
Yep.
Kobe Bryant,
Oh, I should have gotten that.
James Harden,
Mhm.
Oh.
Got that, baby. You know I
Had
did.
that one. Yeah.
Elgin Baylor. Anyone say Elgin? I don't think
Skipped
so.
Elgin.
no.
Damian Lillard, 15 times.
I got Dame.
Got Lillard.
I got Damon.
Those
yeah.
are my 5, baby.
Nice.
I need one more.
Did you say LeBron James, Sam?
No.
Well, you should
Would've
have.
been.
Or did you say Rick Barry?
No.
No. But you did say Steph.
Oh, I
who
was
is
2 away,
ninth
actually.
on the list.
Who's the
What?
10th?
10th is Allen Iverson.
Oh, I said George Gervin as my 5th.
Why?
Another
got
Philadelphia
three. I couldn't think of
76er.
MJ.
So you didn't get 5?
I got 4.
So
only got
Sam
3.
got 4. Kyle got his 5. We're all on the list.
Wow.
Nick, your 5.
I only got 3. Yeah.
I would say
Yeah,
give
3.
Kyle a point, then don't do the thing I said because he got a 5 and we didn't.
Did you believe I forgot
Kyle,
Michael
a
Jordan played
commanding lead
basketball?
so far.
Sam didn't say Kobe, so
Yeah.
I also
George
didn't say
Gervin with that
Kobe.
finger roll, though. That finger roll was worth 50
the
a game
finger
right
roll, yeah.
there. The
I
Iceman.
read
We
I
lived
read a book
through
about
like
Michael Jordan
5
to my
of these
child
players.
every night.
All right, one
So,
more round, Seth?
Well, we haven't done question 5 yet, which was the most free throws missed.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
All of you got it wrong, I believe. Nick said Ben Simmons, Kyle said Shaq, and Sam, you said Shaq. The correct answer was Andre Drummond.
Ah.
Mm.
How many?
Wow.
23 missed free throws.
Oh
in one
my God.
I like it to be known that I said this answer and said Shaq, and then in parentheses said, I don't know, you got me.
game. Yeah.
Give the kid a half a point for that.
Drummond's
All right.
insane, dude.
Now, do
If
we
anyone,
want...
if anyone doesn't remember, the answer for this question, but in the playoffs, was Nick Claxton.
I do. I got that right. I remember
Claxton.
because I remember that
Alright.
game.
Do we want to keep going with this category, or should I save the other 5 for another time?
It's up
Run
to
it.
you. You're the game master. I'd say we play one more round right now. Whatever you choose.
Okay. So we'll skip ahead then.
I mean, we could do 2 more rounds, but how long have we been recording this podcast for?
Exactly.
Who the
So
fuck cares?
we'll
What are we
save some
doing?
for later. Okay. So next category is, and this will give you a hint for some of the answers. This category is called players that Kyle loves and hates. Okay.
I'm gonna score so
So-
bad.
I'm gonna put James Harden for every answer.
Question 1. The top 3 highest scoring games in a
Mhm.
game 7 of a playoff series were all done by active players. Who are they?
All right. I need to repeat that, but slowly and with your chest.
Yeah. So looking at all of history, if you look at game 7 of a playoff series, the 3 highest scoring games by a player, right? Not the team score, but a player's, how much the player scored in that point. All 3 of those are made by active players.
3
so
highest scoring
Michael
games in
Jordan.
Game 7 of playoff history. Okay.
How many have there been? I don't know. So,
So I need to
all
name
3 of
3
those
players. Okay.
You get a point for each one that you name,
Okay.
and I'll give you also a point if you can tell me the year and
Come on.
if you want to tell me the number of points they scored as well.
Oh
if you
my
want.
God.
That's
What's up
No
with this
fucking
guy?
way.
Jesus
Basically,
Christ.
just give me the 3 players And maybe I'll dole out some extra points if you want to give me extra information. All
I
right.
can't think of any player that Kyle loves even scoring that well in the game 7 because all the players that Kyle loves don't perform well in the playoffs.
Just remember, this is the category is players that Kyle loves and hates.
Right. So he hates the good players. That's a good point.
All right, next question.
I feel like
There
I
are
have it, but
two-
I don't hate these players, but I hate the teams. So does that count?
There are 2 active coaches in the top. I guess this is coaches that players that Kyle loves and hates. There are 2
He
active
hates
coaches
all coaches.
in the top 15 all time in regular season winning percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they?
2 active coaches, you said?
Yep, there's 2 active in the top 15 all time regular season winning percentage. Who are those 2 coaches? Point for each. Question 3. Whose nickname, according to Basketball Reference, is Uno? Question 4.
Okay.
There are 2 players who have tied the record for the most threes missed in a regular season game. One of them is Damon Stoudemire.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the other?
Most
Can you
threes
repeat
missed in a
that?
regular season game?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, last question. You might want to write this down.
Jesus. I've been writing all these down.
Which player's career path goes like this?
Mm-hmm.
Houston,
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
Houston,
Mm-hmm.
Portland,
Mm-hmm.
Clippers,
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia.
Current active? You'd rather not say?
Not specified.
I would. Could you repeat that one?
Yeah.
One more time.
So these are the teams that this player played for in order: Houston, Philly, Minnesota, Houston again, then Portland, Clippers, then Philly again.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, his name that I want to say.
The Portland one is killing me. I got so many
Okay.
players I feel like fit it, but then the Portland doesn't really work.
I am struggling. This is hard trivia, and I respect that.
I like Nick's answer for number 3.
Seth, you said best win
Yeah, I
percentage by
told
coach.
you I'm still working on it.
Best winning percentage by coach. You said regular season, Seth?
Yes, regular season winning percentage.
Who does Kyle hate most as a coach? The list is abound. Pardon.
What the fuck is his name?
What the fuck is his name?
Hit me.
This is dicey. All of this is very dicey.
I feel great about 1 through 4, and I know who 5 is, but this is the dumbest thing ever, not being able to think of his name. It's a player that Kyle loves.
You're supposed to
Oh,
love them.
loves helps. Loves helps. Oh man, does it help though?
Who could Kyle hate more than anything? He hates so many coaches, it's hard to know.
You always say this.
It's Pete Carroll.
Okay.
Sam.
And then what have I not answered, Seth? I don't even know. Oh, I didn't answer who's Uno or whatever. Uno? I've never heard of anyone being nicknamed Uno.
I know the answer to 5, and I can't think of his name, and it's really pissed me off. You know how I get.
How How do you
Just
get
can't picture him, huh?
Seth? Uno is a current player, right?
Correct.
Okay.
gosh.
I still owe you 3 highest scoring games in playoffs game 7 history.
I'm just gonna send you a player for number 5, but I know it's gonna be wrong.
All right, I answered them all, but they're all wrong. I don't even care anymore. This is
Yeah,
terrible
I'm over it.
podcasting. Let's
I'm
go.
over it.
Seth,
Dead
start to
air.
read the answers.
Let's do 5 more
All
rounds.
right.
We've already lost. We've even lost Matt, who's our one listener.
We do
I
this for
left 5
ourselves, not
blank.
for anyone else.
I think
All
maybe
right, so I'm going to start
listeners from
the
Belgium.
answers. I don't know if everyone's texting me or not, but
It's fine, go
number
ahead.
1. So the 3 highest scoring games in a game 7 were Jason Tatum.
Woohoo!
I think all of you.
I didn't get
Sam,
that.
did you get that? No, Sam's text messages to me.
Wasn't Tatum just last
Are-
year or 2 years ago?
Okay,
most
first of all,
chaotic
my
thing.
texts are more of a stream of consciousness than anything.
Yeah. Look, gentlemen, he expects me to be able to score this. It's just a stream of text, no reference at what question they're answering. It's atrocious. So it was 2023. Tatum scored 51.
Who cares, dude? He's just glazing Celtics through this whole thing.
Yeah. Next up was Steph, also in 2023. He
I got
scored
that one.
50. And then Kevin Durant scored 48 for the Nets in
I had that
2021, which I believe was the toe on the line game.
Kyle does hate Tatum and Steph, but he doesn't really hate KD, I feel like.
No, see, I got really lucky on this. I put Steph and KD assuming it was at some point when they were on the Warriors. But then thinking now they probably didn't. I don't know how many game 7s they really saw. So I got lucky with 2 of the 3, I think.
But I feel like he likes KD.
I do like KD. He's a
Yeah.
star.
Did you get Tatum?
I got Tatum.
You
I
got
should
them
have
all
gotten
then,
Tatum.
huh? Nice.
I
Wow,
was really
Kyle got
just
all 3?
referencing Tatum for that.
Kyle's cooking right now.
I guess Mitchell
right.
for one of those because I was just remembering that
Mm.
Nuggets series.
Mitchell Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Those
All right,
games
so-
always went 7 too. Those series.
Question 2, the top regular season winning percentage. Nick got this correct.
Woohoo!
Sam, I wouldn't be able to say, but the correct answer is Joe Mazzulla is number 1.
Mhm.
That makes
all
sense.
time.
Fuck.
And then number 14 all time is Steve Kerr.
I knew Steve Kerr, but I thought he loves Joe Maz. Oh, I guess it's coaches he loves and hates. I just assumed he hated both.
I
coaches
assumed
in
I
the list.
hated both too, and I said Kurt and Doc.
I said Kerr
should've-
and Bud because I figured you hate Bud too.
As soon as I realized the first question had Tatum as an answer, I was like, all right, Seth's talking Celtics again.
Yeah, this is a classic, honestly.
These are all just emails that Joel has sent him over the years, and he's just putting them into trivia form.
Honestly, I wasn't even thinking that like, oh, he loves Joe Maz. I was just looking for a question with Steve Kerr in it, and that was it.
See,
so
I feel like
not
I lean too
every
much into
single
the
answer
categories.
was- Yeah.
But you,
All right.
because you told me every answer would fit it, and you lied to me. You don't even respect your own category.
I didn't tell you that. I said the category might give you a hint on what some of the answers are.
It was in his eyes.
I'm not going to count it, but the name of the person for 5 came to me. So before you say the answer, Seth, let me just tell everyone.
Like, I feel like you can count it. But yes, I'll let you reveal it. So, number 3, whose nickname in Basketball Reference is Uno? Kyle, it's your boy. James Harden.
It's got a wine named
I
Duno
knew
too.
it.
Sam got that as well. Nick got that as well. Everyone knew that one.
Well, it's James Harden. I mean, come on.
I didn't know that.
He's got a wine also called Uno.
So wait,
And
why
then,
is he Uno? I just kind of remember
number
that
one.
when I was
He's
doing
number one,
Basketball
yeah.
Reference. Okay.
Not
Same
in
reason
our
he's
hearts.
called the system.
Yeah.
Kyle continues to clean up with question 4 because it was also James Harden, who is tied for the record with most threes missed in a game.
I got that too.
Was it like
16.
15? Oh, 16. Okay.
I was like, he wouldn't put James Harden for an answer for both. And then I was like, maybe he did.
Yep. And then the career path, Kyle, you want to tell us who it is?
It's Big Dick Bobby Covington. whose name
Robert
would-
Covington,
would not
baby.
come to my head while I was sending Seth these answers.
It's fine. We can count it. I had that as
Well
well.
done. Well done.
This was
Big
great.
Dick Bobby. Kyle absolutely destroyed us in this.
Yeah, he did.
Way better
So
than
if we give-
Jeopardy.
If we give Kyle the point for the last one, not that he needs extra points, he has 11 points. Nick ended up, or currently has 4, 5, 6, 7 points.
You can't even count my
Samwell
points.
Bringing up the rear with 5.
I say we take Kyle to a nice Denny's Grand Slam, and then we take me to a nice steak dinner. And that's our day.
Perfect.
I prefer Waffle House, but there's none in the area.
Oh,
Should we do
now we're
just
talking.
one final question for all the marbles?
Sure,
Mm.
For all of it.
I'm
Uh,
ready.
I'm just gonna pick one randomly. So
I thought he would have one in mind for this.
the 2018-19 season,
Uh-huh.
first team all rookie
Mhm.
was a treasure trove of future stars. You had Luka Doncic,
Mhm.
Trae Young,
Mhm.
Jaren Jackson Jr.,
Mhm.
and then also DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley.
Mhm.
To win the trivia, name any one player on the second team all rookie.
I like it. I like it.
I can't think of his name now.
We'll just give you 30 more seconds, and then everyone can just say their answer out loud. And after you all say the answers, I'll tell you if any of them are on the list.
I'm not even sure the person I just typed is a real person that exists.
Oh, am I texting you or are we just saying it?
We're just going to say it out loud. Does everyone have a name?
Oh, I already texted it to you.
I mean, that doesn't preclude you from saying it into your mic.
I gotta check if this is a real person now.
That is a real person.
Okay, good.
I can't wait to hear who you say.
His parents-
I know mine's gonna be wrong, but I'll take a shot. Sure, I'm good.
The parents' name of the player, I guess, his name is their parents' name is Apples Jones, by the way.
Incredible. Kyle,
All
you
right,
got a
good.
name in mind?
Yeah.
All right. Sam, why don't you go ahead and start? Tell us Apple Jones's son.
Apple Jones, Mother of the Year. Her son's name, Josh Jackson of the Phoenix Suns.
Wow, we're
That
gonna
is a
guess
real
Kai.
person. I will not reveal if he was on the team yet. Kyle, who's your pick?
It's got to be SGA.
Shea Gilgis Alexander, also a real person.
Mother,
Nick,
Oranges Jones.
Nick, who do you have?
I couldn't think of anyone from this year, so I know he's way earlier than this, but I'm gonna go Mario Hazonia.
Oh,
It's got to be way earlier than the
Great pull.
2018
It's
draft.
Mario
so
had
much,
a-
it's so much earlier. But I
Mario
couldn't
had a
think of
week where
anyone.
he locked down LeBron and dunked on him in the same week. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure.
I think you're right.
All right, so the second team all rookie that year, Kevin Herter,
Oh,
the aforementioned Mitchell Robinson, just came back from injury. The one and only Landry Shamet
Wow.
of
Shamet.
Shamet face fame.
All of them are still in the league too.
Yeah. Also still in the league, Colin Sexton.
Mm.
And lastly, Shea Gilgis Alexander.
Well, nice, Kyle.
Damn straight.
So Kyle with a resounding
Been a goat
victory
since
in
day one.
this,
Since day
this
one.
edition of NBA Trivia.
Was Josh Jackson drafted that year and just didn't make it?
Was he drafted that year?
I don't know. I probably could have looked that up when I was looking up. I was looking up facts about Apples Jones.
I feel like it was not that year because too many of these players were high draft picks, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think
'cause-
Josh Jackson's been in the league for 7 years.
No.
Unless
He
the
was.
Suns had the #1 pick and
Oh,
like
he was in 2017. Yeah.
okay.
Oh wow, he
I
was
wanted-
drafted even earlier.
Yeah.
I want it known that Mario Hezonja was drafted in 2015, and
That's not that
And-
bad.
okay, but listen to if I can quickly listen to the all rookie teams the year he was drafted. This man wouldn't even sniff second team all rookie. Okay, first team: Cat, Porzingis, Booker, Jokic, Jaleel Okafor. Second team:
Jaleel.
Justice Winslow, which Seth's team almost gave up 4 first-rounders for.
Thank
Love
God.
Justice.
D'Angelo Russell, Emmanuel Mudiay, Miles Turner, Willie Cauley-Stein.
Justice
Solid.
Winslow is just Ben Simmons before Ben Simmons, if we're being honest. Just never given the chance.
Much better than Ben,
Facts.
if anything. Well, that was a great trivia, Seth. Thank you for allowing us to play. Shout out Apples Jones.
And I still have like 20 more questions we didn't do, so we can do more another
They're not-
time.
Turn off the recording. Let's just do them now.
We'll have to have our special guest back for another pod, just to get the listeners interested. Well,
I'm
that was
available.
our that was our NBA late season post All-Star game, post trade deadline pod. Kyle, you know what you have to do. You need to send our listeners off with something to wet their whistles for the weekend.
Yeah. Final message from your runaway champion. If you're gonna think about anything this weekend, just think about how wrong Seth is and the fact that Jokic should be MVP this year. It's SGA's. It's been his since he was an all rookie second team player. This has been years in the making. It's time. We finally made it. SGA, OKC fans rejoice.
Shout out Apple, shout out Annie.